Record on the computer. Okay.
Metamates.
I mute this one. I see you when the show starts.
Bye.
Hello, everybody, on this beautiful Thursday. Well, I don't want to say beautiful, but on this, you know what? It is going to be beautiful. Am I talking? Yeah. Hello on this beautiful Thursday, everybody. It's cloudy outside, but boy, do we have quite the show for you. Terry, your mic is finally on. Everyone's here except for Jo because they decided to expose us. And Jo has made the decision to leave the morning buzz forever, as they have cited the boss has created a hostile working environment that involves 24/7 flexibility from everyone involved. So I'd like to issue an apology to all my friends, family, and fans. Anyways, guys, this is indeed the morning buzz. We have a lot of great things, bad things, troubling things even related to tea and crumpets to talk about today. But more importantly, because Jo will be here, hopefully later on in the show, if Montclair State wants to get their shuttle act together. But Terry is reprising her role as a good old newscaster.
My roots.
Take the way, Terry.
Absolutely. So in national news, the Georgia Guidestones, also known as America's Stonehenge, was demolished yesterday after an unknown individual set off an explosive at the monument. While the explosive did not destroy the entire monument, the rest had to be taken down for safety reasons. The monument contained a message in 12 different languages, which included parts about preserving nature, uniting the world with a single language, and oddly, keeping the population of the earth under 500 million people. Some political candidates had spoken in the past about tearing down the monument if they won due to its potentially offensive nature. In New Jersey news, Spirit Airlines will be taking over 16 more runway spots at the Newark airport, despite concerns about the company's reliability. The runway spots have been held by Southwest Airlines since 2010, but they were given to Spirit to help promote competition in the market. However, criticizers say that Spirit's low-cost flights aren't the only factor, and that having many canceled flights won't boost the market. Spirit had the highest number of cancellations in the month of April, as well as the third lowest arrival time. And finally, in Montclair news, Hackensack Meridian Health Mountainside in Montclair is being sued by the widow of a celebrity chef who was treated and eventually died there. Floyd Cardoz passed away in the hospital in 2020 from COVID-19, and throughout his stay, his wife, Barca Cardoz, was given very little information regarding her husband's condition. However, when she went to tell the family in India about Cardoz's death, she found that they already knew of his death and of the intimate details about his stay in the hospital. A staff member at the hospital has been disclosing medical information to her family, which in turn ended up passing on to Cardoz's family. And for the weather today, currently here in, well, not here, I'm in South Jersey, but back up in Montclair State. Sorry, I'm so sorry. It is currently 73 degrees with cloudy weather. Expect a high of 80 degrees and a low of 70 degrees with cloudy weather all day. Down in South Jersey, it's a little rainy. I don't know if that's changed in the past.
That's disgusting. No one likes rain. Not at all.
Really does.
But ladies and gentlemen, we have breaking news in the studio today. Making their triumphant return to the morning buzz. It is Jo. Jo, welcome. Welcome back.
Hi, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. I haven't talked today. I didn't realize that.
Jo, would you like to get something off your chest here today?
About why I was late, or
expose Montclair's issue with their transportation.
Tell them.
Okay, I will.
Pop off.
I left my dorm hall at 7:18 to get to the shuttle stop, And I got picked up from the shuttle stop at 7:52.
Oh,
That's utterly ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry that happened to you. I feel like the shuttles are just very unreliable at MSU as of late. Like,
I have a question, Joe.
Yeah.
When does it normally come?
Typically, I don't have to wait longer than 15 minutes, but every once in a while that'll happen where it takes 30 minutes or more. Sometimes I just suck it up and walk, but I can't always do that because this might be shocking, but some people can't walk that far on a daily basis, and I'm one of those people.
You can't do that?
well,
You know Waka Lagoon?
Well, yeah, but sometimes walking is good, but my legs are bad.
Oh, leg no
Amen.
walk good. Got it.
amen. As someone whose bones crack every time I move
Good
Oh, me too.
Lord.
Me too.
and has asthma, you don't see me walking anywhere. I don't use my legs.
Mm.
And which is
Mm.
honestly a privilege that I understand that I have.
Wow.
But
Asthma is a privilege, everyone.
no, using not like having the choice of not using my legs is the privilege part.
Yes.
But seriously, if I do, I'm gonna end up in the middle of the road, like roadkill, and nobody else is gonna look at me and
Oh,
just
wow.
go by.
It's like that, man.
It really is like that. I think the shuttle would also honestly drive by and just be like, sucks, man.
Hey, but the
You
important
almost got
part
me.
is Joe is here with us now,
They
live
are.
and in the flesh, and
I'm
her
so
and her
happy.
legs are still working.
Mm-hmm.
Congrats,
Amen.
Joe. We appreciate
You
it.
conquered the MSU shuttle.
Yep.
You did it. And now let's talk about sports.
Sports.
Let's have a roundtable discussion about what's going on in sports, everyone. Terry, I'd love you to lead off and tell us what is happening in the NBA.
So,
And that's been Terry's sports report.
I
listen,
wish
y'all.
I had a B bar so I could do the cricket noise.
Oh man, I forget I have those things. Yeah, my bad, y'all.
We
Poor
need a-
production.
It's one of those days where we wish we had a little gremlin, aka Lara, in the corner.
Oh no, I would never wish for that. I absolutely hate her. Kidding.
I love
Obviously,
you,
Lara,
Lara.
you're quite swell. Anyways, y'all, the Browns have finally done what we thought they would do 3 months ago, and that is re-sign Baker. No, I'm kidding. What actually happened is the Browns have gone from a poverty franchise to a decent franchise, and they finally won a playoff game. And then suddenly their starting quarterback gets injured. They don't do too well last season. And then next thing you know, they decide, let's make a plan. We're going to get rid of the first quarterback in our history to really give us a run and make us a competitive team. And we're going to say, let's sign someone facing at one point 24 sexual assault, civil lawsuit accusations. And then he's settled. And then he had 4. Those 4 still remain. At one point, the New York Times said there could be up to 66 different women involved in this sexual assault case. Now, we get to yesterday, where the Browns had decided to trade Baker Mayfield to the Panthers of all teams, and the Panthers are just like the Browns, facing controversy like many other NFL teams. But hey, every Sunday, we all like to gather up together and watch some games because sports brings people together, kind of, but not really. Anyways, that's your NFL news. And now we're going to switch gears. We're going to go to America's pastime, a sport that is specialized in so many great things like racism and hitting balls across the field. Here we go. The Yankees, which is our local team here in the tri-state area, demolished the Pittsburgh Pirates. Why are they called the Pirates? I don't know, because there's no Pirates in Pittsburgh last time that I checked. Anyways, Terry's a Mets fan. Because
I actually don't watch baseball at all. I just put Go Mets in our chat.
Ugh.
But Yankees are cool. They have cool proceed.
Yeah. Well, they won 16-0, everyone, and I didn't even know you could score 16. Anyways, listen.
That's a lot.
I've really tried to enjoy summer sports. At this point, I should remind everyone. This year was supposed to be the World Cup during the summer, and I could have had a lot to talk about. But instead, FIFA did what FIFA does, and they took some blood money from Qatar, and now we're having it in the winter, which will be exciting either way. But I just feel, you're wasting my time, FIFA.
That one is happening in New Jersey, right? Or something
No,
like
that is the next
Or
World Cup.
Oh,
This
that
one
one's
is in Qatar
Oh, I see.
or Qatar. Not sure how entirely to pronounce it. One day I will.
I think people
And
say
hopefully they start
Qatar.
treating their women equally. Anyways, we're gonna move on to our friends across the pond. Because they have been dealing with some controversy, and by controversy, it's finally great where the United States isn't the top page of AP News or anything else on the news channels, as the controversial Prime Minister Boris Johnson battled to remain in office on Wednesday, brushing off calls for his resignation after 3 cabinet ministers and a slew of junior officials said they could no longer serve under his scandal-plagued leadership. Well, that was fine as I prepared the script last night, but then the whole world and especially Britain turned upside down this morning, which is that night in their time. I don't
Something
know.
like that.
Hey, Standard Time, Eastern Standard Time, all I know. Well, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson finally succumbed to political reality Thursday and agreed to resign after latest ethics scandals around his leadership led to some 50 senior lawmakers to quit the government. Now let's go back to when he was like, I don't want to go. He had rejected demands that he step down during a session of the House of Commons while the handling of sexual misconduct allegations against a senior official loomed over. Later in that day, a delegation of some of his most trusted allies in the cabinet paid a visit to the prime minister, urging him to go, but he remained unmoved and had no plans to resign. The prime minister turned down suggestions he seek a, quote, dignified exit, as he believes that there are hugely important issues facing the country. Johnson believed that there would be chaos if he quit. Well, he quit. The 58-year-old leader who pulled Britain out of the European Union and steered it through the COVID-19 outbreak is known for his ability to somehow find his way out of these kind of situations. He's managed to remain in power despite allegations that he was too close to party donors, that he protected supporters from bullying and corruption allegations, and that he misled Parliament about government office parties that broke pandemic lockdown rules. He even managed to survive a vote of no confidence last month, despite 41% of conservative lawmakers voting no confidence in the prime minister. All that being said, it sounds like there's going to be pure chaos now that he's resigned, everyone. Britain's dead. They're in the dumpster now.
What?
They're done. We're never going to talk about them ever again. Daniel Radcliffe, it's a wrap. James Bond, it's a wrap. What other famous British people
James
are there?
Bond is actually a rap, so that's really funny. But I don't know what other British people.
Spoilers? Did I accidentally spoil the end of James Bond, everyone?
No. Like I think they're getting a new one. They're gonna cast.
Man, not another one.
Anyways,
Anyways,
I don't know what other British people are a rap.
I think this is honestly such an interesting situation that I've been kind of loosely monitoring, because for the most part, we don't talk about worldly issues too often, but when we do, it's pretty important. And I think this is hugely important on like the world scale to see him step down in that kind of manner. I mean, very mirror similarities between Trump. I don't know what his political beliefs are. I don't want to say that, but just like constantly being in controversy, yet somehow still always staying in power. And it seems like he just ran out of time at this point, and his last set of promoting that one guy ended his political career, and now he's resigning. And I'm interested to see what Britain does now. Do they remain kind of their own country, or do they rejoin their European Union again? Do they hold another election? I'm curious to see how this is gonna not only affect their country, but their place on the world scale, as well as their economy. Because anytime you see like a president or a prime minister just resign, I imagine that has a negative impact on most things. So
yeah, and
this
especially
is,
it's kind of random. Not
yeah.
random, but like
To us, it's random.
To us, it's random. But I always loosely not knowing too much about British UK politics, so forgive me, but I always thought that if Boris Johnson were to resign or get out of office in some way, this is not how I really envisioned it. Because I don't know, the Brexit thing was like, I'm surprised he made it through the Brexit thing. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
honest, because a lot of people did not like that was happening, caused a lot of controversy in that area across the pond. So I'm just, I don't know, this is just a really interesting thing. And on top of that, seeing that 50 senior lawmakers quit the government after he
Mhm.
endorsed this person is wild to see, because I feel like over here you don't see people in the government taking that strong of a stance against a leader and holding
Mhm.
their leaders accountable in that way at all here, actually. Because it's interesting how you bring up the comparison between Trump, because a lot of people tend to do that, especially while Trump was in office. And when Trump was in office and he was doing all these crazy things and just not using his brain, nobody, you didn't have 50 lawmakers leaving the
Exactly.
legislature. So it's just really interesting to see how, in comparison to their government, where it seems that they hold each other accountable more so than our government. I don't know if you've ever seen like kind of like a conference thing, kind of similar to how like the House or the Senate like holds their thing, but they're like, legislators are like arguing up back and forth and making snarky remarks and stuff, and like really cutting deep when they're like about to pass laws and things like that, or whatever the terminology is over there, because the environment for politics is so much different than it is over here. So it's just really
Mm.
interesting to see the comparison between our countries.
It's interesting you actually say that, Terry. Have you ever watched C-SPAN before?
No, what is that?
C-SPAN is like a government organization that where you can watch and listen to like government hearings and all these things.
Oh, okay.
So there's, I hate to bring about the sports, but there's a reason. So Roger Goodell, who's like the commissioner of the NFL, was at like a Senate hearing, and they were talking about what they should do with like the Washington football team that's facing all these allegations. Blah 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 blah. The important part is seeing how lawmakers were talking to each other and to Roger Goodell. And as like I saw clips of that, because no one in their right mind for the most part is watching C-SPAN because it's boring, despite it being very important. So as I was watching this, I couldn't help but think, wow, we elect these officials and they could not be wasting more of our time than ever before.
Amen.
Because one, they were arguing with each other to the point where it wasn't even productive. And I'm gonna this, I forget which senator asked this question, but he asked Roger Goodell, he said, "Do you think this is a good idea to use taxpayers' money to be talking about what the NFL is doing right now instead of like all these other things going on in our country?" And then Roger Goodell was like, that's an interesting question. I don't know if I'm the one you should be asking that because I'm not the one making these hearings. It's you guys. Like you're the ones that are doing that." And the whole time as I'm watching clips, because I didn't see the full thing, so obviously they're highlighting the ridiculous things, but they literally got nothing done and nothing out of that entire like 2-hour meeting, and it was mainly them fighting with each other and not even related to the NFL. So I think there's similarities in that sense where it seems like regardless of where you go, politicians are in a constant state of let's just argue and then nothing gets done.
Yeah.
And it seems like in this case, at least, someone was willing to take an action that got something done, and 50 people stepped down, they quit, and it forced Boris Johnson to quit. And now we're here.
Yeah, that's such a good point that you brought that up, just because it's just ridiculous. You, again, like, you elect these leaders, we put these leaders into a position where they're supposed to be helping us, and they're bickering like high schoolers.
Yeah, and they're supposed to be the smart ones. They're supposed
Yeah.
to be the smart people, and we're supposed to like put our faith in them to make decisions for us on a large scale, whether it's laws, going into wars, how we want to spend our money, and they're talking about nonsense and they're fighting with each other, and it's like they make the active decision, yeah, let's just like waste 3 hours of our time, go get lunch, call it a day, and we'll redo this whole thing tomorrow. Like
Exactly.
honestly, watch like a 10-minute of C-SPAN and you will hate our
I'm
government
going to now, because I
30
didn't even know
times
this
more.
existed, because especially in a time where we need legislation, for example, on gun control, which we're going to talk about the Illinois attack, like you would think that people would get their act together right now when the world is a really dangerous place. But I
If
think
only.
a decent segue to go into our next story. We do have an update on the Illinois attack that happened on Independence Day. So the man charged with killing 7 people at the Independence Day parade confessed to police that he shot innocent civilians from the top of suburban Chicago and fled to Madison, Wisconsin. While escaping the scene, he also contemplated shooting up an event there. Wisconsin Lake County Major Crime Task Force spokesman Christopher Cavelli said the suspect turned back to Illinois, where he was later arrested after deciding he was not prepared to pull off another attack, and he has also been denied bond. Cavelli said it did not appear that the suspect had planned another attack in Wisconsin, but fled there and saw another Independence Day celebration. At that moment, he had, quote, seriously contemplated, quote, firing on it. The shooter had gotten rid of his first semi-automatic rifle he used in Illinois, but he had another one, similar rifle, and about 60 more rounds with him. For hours before he was arrested, police warned that the gunman was still at large and that he should be considered armed and dangerous. Several nearby cities canceled events, including parades and fireworks. Most festivities in and around Wisconsin's capital went ahead. Madison Police Chief Sean Barnes told the news conference on Wednesday that the FBI urged the department on Monday evening to prepare its SWAT team because investigators believe the gunman could be in the area. Lake County Assistant State's Attorney Ben Dillon said in court that the gunman left the shells of 83 bullets and 3 ammunition magazines on the rooftop. He initially evaded capture by disguising himself as a woman and blending in, fleeing the crowd. Lake County State Attorney's Eric Reinhart said he planned to bring attempted murder and aggravated battery charges for each individual who was hurt. He said, quote, there will be many, many more charges coming, end quote, and expects more charges to be announced later this month. If convicted of first-degree murder charges, the gunman would receive a mandatory life sentence without the possibility of parole. Again, another shooting in this unfortunate time that we live in. I don't know how week to week we still end up with so many stories, different stories about another shooting happening in another city with more people dying. I don't know how many times we have to express how frustrated we are with the lack of action in our country. And I think we're getting to a spot, when I say we, I mean the country as a whole, where we're starting to be very desensitized to these things. And just the thought of being desensitized to something like this, just very dystopic, very concerning behavior. I don't understand how someone wouldn't be concerned about this, but it's a weird juxtaposition to have a shooting on Independence Day in a time where we are begging legislators to pass gun laws and gun legislation and gun control. And more conservative people think that everything's fine, we don't need to change anything, and here we are on our day of independence. We're supposed to be celebrating our freedom in a time where our freedoms are getting taken away and lives are being taken away, and more people have to die at the hands of somebody just wanting to kill people with a gun that they definitely shouldn't have. So I'm just really uncomfortable. I'm feeling really angry and mad at the people in power because, like Isaiah was saying, like we put you there as a society. We voted you there. No matter however you got there, you're in that position, and now more lives have to be taken literally every day, every week, and we somehow have a story for our listeners about how more people died, and it's just really upsetting to have to do this every single week.
Yeah, it's really tough, especially as you prepare a script for a show, especially like a morning news show. At some point you get used to literally used to seeing these stories. Like every day I do it, it's a new one in a different state, a new city. It could be more people, it could be less people, a different weapon, doesn't matter. It's the same exact thing. And still to this point, after begging for how long I've been doing, like a year and a half for change, nothing has changed. And
even longer than that.
Yeah, well, in this role at least.
Yeah.
The only thing that had really made a difference was everyone being forced to stay inside because of a pandemic. And that was like the first time where waking up, or as I'm preparing a script, I didn't have to say, here on the Morning Buzz, we have to sadly inform you that 13 people have lost their lives due to a mass shooting. That's absurd. It literally took the world to not run for people to not take someone's life on a mass scale, at least. And it's so disturbing having to just like, and as you mentioned, at some point, I think I've become desensitized to this thing, to these mass shootings, because I think I've lost track of the numbers of mass shootings I've reported on. And it's so sad that I can see these numbers and then just say, that's another one. And then I'm going to talk about it. It's like, I want to feel more sadness for these people, but I feel like now it's the point where I'm just like more angry than sad at this point. And once again, it's comes down to our elected officials and the failure that they continue to bring to us on a consistent basis. And they're more concerned for some reason on revoking rights of women than saving the lives of children, men, women, doesn't matter. People were literally just on holiday vacation, enjoying a parade. And I saw a disturbing detail where it said there was a couple walking their child in a stroller, and now that kid will never see their parents again. And then they will never get to know their parents.
It's chilling. Like I have such a pit in my stomach right now just because it's just frustrating. I don't know. Joe, do you have words? Because I can't seem to be forming words right now.
I feel like all the words that I would have, I've said on this show already. We've done this pretty much every week, if not every week. I've been keeping exact track since the beginning of the summer, and I assume before, when I wasn't here, and it just keeps happening. And at what point does it become too much? I feel like it's already too much, but I don't know what to do, you know? I don't know where we as a country are supposed to go from here if our elected officials won't actually stop the people from dying. At what point are they just letting it happen?
I agree. And it just going back, and it kind of goes back to this whole like the pro-life mindset, being that Roe v. Wade just got overturned and everything, because it really only is pro-life until the child is born. Because if it really were pro-life, our legislators would be taking the time to rectify all of these other areas of our lives as well, to make sure that we feel comfortable and safe and heard to be living in this country and to be living in this so-called democracy. But that's just not the case, because you're sitting here restricting more people. You're restricting the bodily autonomy and agency that people have on their own beings, rather than other people taking that away from others by quite literally murdering them, by taking their right to live away. And it's just I don't understand. I don't think I ever will understand the mindset of how could you only really care about life until they just come out the womb and like, okay, you're here now, whatever, go join the rest of them. What is the point of that? How is that productive? How does that help our quality of life being in the quote unquote greatest country of the world? Like, they sell this idea of the American dream to people who don't live here, and then they come here and it's an absolute mess. It's just so annoying to me, because there's just layers of things that just will never make sense to me. I'm so irritated right now, honestly.
No, I think it's a very valid thing to be irritated about, Terry. I think the best idea now is we take a breather, play some songs, maybe. We come back. It's gonna be a little bit later, everyone, because it's been a heavy morning, and we want to make sure your morning starts right here on the Morning Buzz. We will be right back, but more importantly, let's hear from Dylan Hoffman, apparently, about what we are. Listen, y'all, we may not be dancing forever on the dance floor, but we certainly will be talking for at least 30 more minutes here on the Morning Buzz. Shout out to that song. I gotta say, I told Joe this during while I was playing that middle school, elementary school me. Love that song.
What
Got me
song was
hyped.
it?
I was like, man, one day I'm gonna dance for a lady and she's gonna fall in love with me. There's a problem with that. I can't dance, nor can I sing. So my dreams never happened, everybody.
No, you were
Despite
doing
that,
pretty okay.
oh, sorry, Joe.
Uh,
I had you muted. You're back. Or Terry, my bad. Yeah, so whatever you said didn't happen. Anyways,
I was saying how you were dancing pretty okay earlier.
you know, I always say I feel like I could have been a good dancer if I took classes as a child.
I say
Like,
that too.
right? I feel like I
Yeah.
have the natural kind of genetics to do it. I just need training, man. You know what?
He's like, as a person of color, we're born for these things.
Yes,
you know.
I was built for this one particular skill.
What song was it?
It was Forever by Chris Brown.
Oh my god. That song had me literally like crumping in my room.
Yes, Terry.
It's so good.
It's so good. Listen.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. Listen, y'all.
That song's so good.
Chris Brown, listen, I know he has a very troubled past. Despite that, he will always have part of my childhood
That's so
brain.
real.
And also, even to this day, he just dropped the album. You better believe I listened to it. I don't know what it is about Chris Brown. I rock with it. I'm glad he was able to become a better man and have a child. And
I hope
he's on a
so.
good direction these days.
Anyways,
Let's talk about tests.
what?
Listen. Yeah. Excuse me, I almost choked on my own fluid. I don't know if I could say the other word on air. Anyways, say goodbye to standardized tests, everyone. Well,
Woo!
sort of, Terry. Let's everyone calm down. I feel like that's the Karen thing, their catchphrase. Calm down. Anyways, calm down, everyone. Governor Phil Murphy signed a bill yesterday that states a new statewide standardized test will not be used as a graduation requirement for the crop of New Jersey high schoolers of the 2023 class. New Jersey is one of only 11 states that continue to require exit exams to graduate from high school. This past spring, juniors who are part of the class of 2023 became the first to take the 11th grade test called the New Jersey Graduation Proficiency Assessment. How many of those 11th graders can actually say that without stuttering? Who knows? It marked the first time in 3 years the Garden State held the state exam after a 2-year break because of the coronavirus pandemic. But under the new legislation, the state has waived the exam as a prerequisite for what the graduating class and will instead treat it as a field test, which, if we all know one thing, that means students are going to take it very seriously.
Obviously.
The results will be used to help the state develop proficiency tests for future graduating classes as well. State Assembly members said the move is needed to offset and continued effects the pandemic has had on learning loss and students' mental health. Terry, while we were getting ready for the show this morning, you said, "Oh, Mr. Isaiah, I really want to talk about this." So I give you the floor, Terry. Get it off your chest.
I just really hate the concept of standardized testing. But the thing is, I went to private school, so I never had to take the NJ Ask. We had something completely different called Iowa testing. I don't know if it was actually from Iowa, where this being came from. But it was, I guess, kind of similar. It was the same thing, like ELA, math, all that good stuff. And I just feel like I've been so passionate about this. Standardized tests do not reflect you as a student, and therefore I feel like it shouldn't even be a thing. I agree that a kid should have certain things met before they move on to the next grade, but that should just be reflective of their grades and not so much how they do well on this test. I was a great student as a kid. Like growing up, I always got like A's and B's and stuff like that. But when it came to standardized testing, it was a wrap. I could not do it. Like, I would be like panicking so bad. Like, I'm pretty sure one year, I was like, we started like the Iowa testing at my Catholic school at like 3rd grade, which is really young. Yeah, we did like every year until you were like, I think in the 6th grade, 7th grade. I don't think we took it in the 8th grade. But 3rd grade is young. I'm sitting here panicking. I got a 40 on the math portion because I like
Oof.
was just freaking out. But like I was really good at math at the time. And then they were like, yeah, that's weird. You're fine. Just you can go to the next grade. And it just didn't really matter at the end of the day.
No, probably not.
It doesn't. It's not. I feel like they put too much pressure on kids to just get good grades rather than just retaining the information. And this is a thing in a lot of different countries too. I know in like Asian cultures, especially. I think Japan and China do this, where like you cannot like even apply to colleges if you don't do good on like the standardized tests, kind of like the SAT, but a lot more rigorous. But they do this like all the time and put pressure on kids to like do well and get good numbers and all this stuff. And like if they do the same thing here, and it's just like, why? Don't you want to just know that the kid knows the information and can retain it and actually learn something from it instead of just regurgitate it? That's what I think. Whatever.
I would agree. I think the idea of standardized testing is such an outdated model. And I don't think it really makes a lot of sense for like modern society. I'm sure at some point maybe there was a valid reason for it, but I think there's many how do I say it? I can't think of the word. That's probably why I did bad on these tests. I feel like there's many like statistical evidence that kind of shows that people don't perform well on standardized tests, but like they know the information that's on there. Like they know what they're doing. It's just the idea of the test can sometimes be too much for someone mentally.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think it's so unfair to these people because like what you said, Terry, you said you were a great student, A's and B's, and then for whatever reason, you just couldn't do well on that standardized test. And then that test is supposed to make or break you, or it's supposed to get you into a college. I think it's a little ridiculous. I think if someone is able to prove that on a consistent basis, they work hard, they get good grades, that is more than good enough to say that they're worthy enough to go to a college, further their education, or just even graduate. It's like, why are we putting so much emphasis on this one singular test compared to a whole body of work that you've done for 9 months?
That's so real. Like, why is my entire life writing on this test, whether it's like elementary school, middle school standardized testing, or like the SATs? It just doesn't make sense to me. I never want to see a Scantron ever again. I just really don't. And I just feel like if the focus should be more on comprehensive learning, like you were saying, if you know the information, you understand it, you actually learn something for it, that's way more valuable for your life than just saying, I'm going to learn it, I'm going to answer these questions on the test, and it's going to leave my mind the minute I walk out of the classroom. How does that help anyone? But the thing is, I also think it leaks into when schools try to aim to have higher test scores and get better funding from different government agencies and things like that. And that's just not how we should determine how we fund our schools. And schools already don't get enough funding as it is, so it's clearly not working. And we all should just be trying to work towards comprehensive learning for our students so they feel like they're succeeding in their learning and not just trying to check boxes off just so they can get to the next level, like a video game. Honestly, like we should value our education more than just wanting high numbers just for the sake of high numbers. It doesn't mean anything at the end of the day.
Couldn't have said it any better, Terry. Jo, I have a question. What was your kind of standardized testing experience in your time in high school and all the grades below?
Well, I don't know anything about an exit exam. Did you guys actually have to do that?
No,
Okay.
I think that's a very new thing.
Okay. Cool. I was worried for a minute. So we didn't have an exit exam or anything. We did have like our own state standardized testing. I think that's a thing in most states. So when I was in like elementary school, early middle school, we had the MEEP.
Not the MEEP.
And then they changed it to the M-STEP, which I think is a significantly less fun name.
I like the MEEP better.
Shout out to MEEP.
MEEP's killing it.
But I'm kind of coming at like kind of a similar perspective as Terry, where my standardized testing did not match my I'm progress in school grades. but kind of also the opposite direction because I was a terrible student. I was so bad at turning work in. I got the information, I just could not turn work in. And I did great on standardized tests. Like
Lucky.
big time player, big time game kind of deal. I see it.
And the trick to that, what I've discovered, is that I had undiagnosed ADHD. And so that makes a lot more sense now. But I do think it's not a good way of measuring how smart people are, how good at things they are, because what I learned from being really good at standardized tests and learning how to play the game, as it were, is that it's partially luck also. Like, I learned how to pretty much play tests, like recognize the patterns and use that to my advantage, even if I didn't necessarily know the information. So it's a game you can kind of cheat, is what I learned. And so I don't think it's a good way of measuring students' abilities
Not
at all.
No.
Hacker
And
Joe.
I'm so glad you said that, because literally the amount of times math was my worst subject I've ever taken. But there were times where I literally had no clue what was on that piece of paper. Like, we had formulas, no clue. They're like, all right, you can't even use a calculator. I'm lost.
Fully. The math was not mathing that day.
No, like algebra was like literally in Korean letters. I had no clue what though. Like, I knew they were numbers. That was it. But it got to the point where like my grade was so bad, I was like, even if I study, I'm not even gonna pass or anything. And then I started using the test to take the test. And then suddenly my grade was up. And I was like, I have not comprehended a single thing that this lady has told me for like 6 months. And I am borderline about to fail algebra for like the second time. But this is algebra 2. I failed algebra 1. Took it in the summer, got 100, cheated the whole time. Doesn't matter. Anyways, so I literally was like, this is like make or break it. I have really got to come up clutch. And then so we had like 3 tests left. And on all 3 tests, not a single clue what was on that piece of paper. But I tell you what, I don't think I got lower than like an 82 on any of them. And I passed because I literally just flipped the sheet and I was like, that looks like that could probably relate to that. Circle it. And then suddenly I was like, I don't know how I just passed, but hey, we graduate in high school, everybody.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. You use the test to take the test. If you don't know the answer, it's probably C.
Yeah.
And you know, if the last 3 were C, it's probably not C, you know, stuff like that.
You know what's messed up though? I had one test, like a history test, on purpose. Our professor made every answer A. And then so like I had this internal battle where I was like, I know for a fact that like France was involved here, but I have picked A 9 times in a row. And I was like, I gotta trust my gut. Like, I guess it's A. And then he's like, listen, guys, I did this on purpose. And the amount of people that doubted yourself is crazy. And then like he put up like the average score. It was like a 62 because everyone was like, there's no way it's like A that many times in a row. So people were just putting different like things because like, well, I guess I don't know the answer. And I was like, that man was on a power move that day. I was like, respect to you, my guy.
That is huge. That is good for him.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. But hey, whenever you're taking a test, man, just trust your gut. Just trust it because it's probably right.
That's so real.
Absolutely.
Anyways, y'all,
On that
beaches
note,
be crazy.
That's so true.
Yeah, Terry.
In all forms of the word. But moving on to our next little fun thing, the lovely people of NJ.com have developed a list of 13 ways to make sure no one hates you at the beach. Don't be that guy. Don't be that girl. Don't be that person, please. So now we're going to go over a few of them and help you really understand how to not be mega garbo supreme at the beach. Are you guys ready for this?
Yeah.
Numero uno, no smoking. Give it. People will be,
come on. Really? I
Don't be
got my Misty 100s.
listen, dirtbag.
Wow.
Do not do this to people. No one wants to be walking in your smoke. It's kind of gross. Do it somewhere else where there's a smoking zone. You're nasty.
You're nasty.
Don't crowd people. Kind of a given. It's a little hard in like Wildwood, honestly.
I
'cause,
mean,
like,
come on. You put your towel, I put my towel on top of yours. We make a super towel and we share the spot.
that's
What could
honestly,
go wrong?
what could go wrong? Maybe
Yeah.
the cops arrive. Who knows? But maybe not the best. Maybe you want to say hi though. Like, hi, I'm Isaiah. Can I sit with you? No? Oh, I'm still gonna put my towel down. But
No,
I'm glad
wait. Terry, I have an idea. How about this?
stomach.
There's this person with their towel. They're minding their own business. I pull up with my towel, put it on the floor, don't say anything, but I dance like I'm Chris Brown, whole choreography, singing forever. 4 minutes, 13 seconds later, we're on the beach together forever.
But can I be so real with you? I think if someone saw you crumping on the beach, they might think that you're mentally ill.
Either that or I'm on bath salts, man. They're
That-
like, that man's gonna eat me. I'm gonna go home.
Yeah, I
No
think
good.
you might be spending a night in the county jail if you'd be doing that. But you could try it and let me know.
I'm gonna try it. I'll let you know.
I know they do give you one phone call, so choose wisely who you call. So the next thing is exhibit sand awareness. So basically, just make sure you're not throwing sand on people, like you're not getting on people's stuff.
Valid.
I don't like it when people walk on the beach and they're like kicking the sand, and I'm just like, what are you doing that for? It's getting in
Who's
my
kicking
eye.
sand on the beach, Terry?
Some people don't lift their feet up when they walk. So like when you're like behind somebody and it's like kicking at you, it's not fun.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Keep your music down. That's a given. Clean up after yourself. Play games on the side. Don't be like throwing a football and right in the middle of someone's family dinner with their pre-made lunch meat sandwiches. That's kind of rude. Listen to the
Oddly
lifeguard.
specific, Terry.
And I've seen it happen so many times. Where a kid throws a football and it ends up in someone's coleslaw. It's
Not
tragic.
the coleslaw.
That coleslaw. It's really tragic.
Mm.
Honestly, it's the best for anyone. Coleslaw is not that good. But let's-
Whoa. Hey,
Moving
hey,
on.
hold on,
Okay,
Terry.
okay, Terry.
We need to relax. We're not gonna start shaming coleslaw all of a sudden.
it doesn't.
Coleslaw's pretty good.
Coleslaw's pretty great, I'd say. It's
Joe
delicious.
gets it. Coleslaw,
Yeah.
especially on like a chicken sandwich too. A little bit of coleslaw on the bottom.
I feel like,
Because it brings a nice little refreshing crunch
but
because
it's
you have
cold.
hold on. You have the
Ugh.
hot sandwich, right? And you have it's a very heavy thing. So you need to balance it, which you can do with a pickle. I understand that. But you can double that way by doing pickle on the top, a little coleslaw on the bottom. You don't want to put too much, and you gotta make sure it's a good coleslaw too, because sometimes people be making wet coleslaw, and we don't want wet coleslaw. We want
Blech.
coleslaw that's good. All right. So
well, I have
Terry,
trouble
we ain't gonna
finding that.
disrespect coleslaw on this show, all right?
Well, y'all can have the coleslaw.
Do you at least like
And-
mac salad or potato salad?
Mac salad is like pretty good. I think that
Mm,
passes.
Okay.
Potato salad, not really.
What is your deal?
Oh my
Ah.
god, you.
It's just potatoes and spices and like delicious.
Yeah, but
It's
it's like-
good.
I don't know, something about it's a texture thing for me mostly. I just don't like that it's cold.
I like it is cold.
It's salad.
Just read the list,
Nah, I
Terry.
also
Just
don't-
read the list.
I also don't like salad, so I'm sorry.
Ah, what? How do you not like salad?
It's green.
What does that
It's
mean?
green. I'm green today.
But the
You
thing
hate
is,
Joe.
I always love Joe. They're amazing, but salad.
I have
leaves.
never heard someone say I hate salad.
There's no way you've never heard someone say I don't like
I've
salad.
never heard someone say that. Like I've
It's
heard
a
this be like,
bowl of
no,
leaves.
I've
Yeah,
heard
it's
somebody
delicious
say
leaves.
I don't really rock with salad. That's fine. But to hate salad?
No, like literally, I almost burst into flames when I went to Salad Works and tried it. Mm-mm.
What did you put on your salad that was so disgusting?
Leaves.
Then just don't listen.
I'm done.
Listen to me. If you go
Grab
go
the
to a
mic.
make your own salad place, if you go to a make your own salad place, you can make your own salad.
But none
don't
of
have
it
to
is
put-
good. None of it. All of it is bad.
I don't.
Fruit salad? Do you like fruit salad?
I do like fruit salad.
So just
But,
go to
like,
a salad place.
Isn't it fruit
make a
salad
fruit salad.
just like a bowl of fruit though? It's a fruit cup.
Yes. Delicious.
Ah, man.
All right.
That's also that's a salad.
I
A
just-
regular salad is just a bowl of vegetables. A fruit salad is just a bowl of fruit.
I'll do a fruit salad, but like normal, typical, traditional salad, no. That's dead. That's done. No,
That's ridiculous. You know, you get like a little
I'm
lettuce and
so
like a little
sorry.
spinach
I'm
in there,
just
cucumber, tomato. I really like strawberries in there.
I feel like you both have
delicious.
lost so much respect for
I-
me.
I have.
Terry, I really liked you, man. I was rocking with you. Very cool person. But then you dropped this bombshell
I'm
today,
so sorry.
and I don't know if you can be trusted. You're
Right.
borderline a communist right
You
now.
know what? Not to gaslight you or anything, but you're being really dramatic right now. We gotta get back to this list.
Listen,
Yo.
dramatic is kind of my thing at this point, Terry. It's my middle name, but we got a list to talk about. Go drop the rest of this list, and I'm sure you'll say something controversial, where you'll say something wild here, and then I
Okay.
leave.
For sure. My next controversial thing is to listen to the lifeguards, because who wants to do that, right? Please listen to the lifeguards at the beach. I don't want to see anybody floating down the ocean. You'll float too. That movie's horrifying. But yeah, please do that. Keep an eye on your kids. Kids really freak me out sometimes. I'm great with kids, but if your kid comes up with their snot nose, pail and shovel in hand asking me to play, and I don't see you in sight, I don't know.
Some of y'all got ugly kids, man. Keep them to your own blankets. I don't want to see that. No way.
No comment on that. I don't want to disrespect anybody's kids, but
I'll disrespect all them kids.
You can
got
do
some
that.
ugly kids.
I just feel like it's such an unfortunate experience to have to like turn someone's child away. It's really really uncomfortable. Or they just stand there and stare at you. Oh my God, no. Keep the PDA to a minimum, please. It's a little, y'all got motel, hotel, Holiday Inn back off the beach. You can do that there. Dress appropriately. I mean, it's the beach. You can.
Maybe treat them better than a motel, all right? Treat them.
Well, that's why I said motel, hotel, Holiday Inn. You know what I mean?
Oh,
yeah,
you're right. You're right.
You know that song?
Hey,
Is it-
Pitbull.
Pitbull, Mr. Worldwide. Got it. Anyways, dress appropriately. I don't know. I don't really agree with this because you're at the beach. Like,
No,
everybody's-
okay, hold on. The reason they said that is because apparently some people think it's optional to dress. And that's what they're saying. Listen, that can happen at certain beaches, but make sure to put some stuff on most of them, all right? Do your
That's
research.
Yeah.
Do your research. I would be so shocked if I saw that on a beach. I would turn around instantly.
Yeah.
That's disturbing.
Yep.
Unless like you're signing up for that. If you're signing up for it, more power to you.
I
The
agree.
human body is beautiful. But if you're at a normal beach at like Wildwood and you see a grown man with nothing, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
That was kind of bars too. Anyways, Terry, sunscreen?
Sunscreen. Wear sunscreen. You don't want to get all wrinkly and gross when you're old and have sunspots. No offense to old people, but you gotta wear sunscreen.
Wow.
You gotta wear sunscreen. You don't want to age like milk. Seriously, we gotta really keep our bodies right. And melanoma is the thing too. You don't want to get that. Secure your stuff. People be getting grabby hands. People are kleptos. You don't want people stealing your
Not
stuff.
the kleptos.
Yes, fully the kleptos. You secure your stuff, please. And don't leave food out. Seagulls are horrified. Shout out to Amanda Gettiosi, who is on the Tuesday buzz, I think, because Amanda is a huge fan of seagulls. And this was a whole thing on the Friday buzz last semester because we never understood why my girl, love her to death, but she really be rocking with the seagulls. I
Listen,
do not.
Amanda, I don't know you. I know of you. What? Who likes seagulls?
What?
I'm not okay.
She thinks they're cute, I think.
Oh, they're like sky rats. They're
Yes,
like pigeons. They're
sky
gross.
Rats, they're beach dogs.
Okay, hold up. Very quickly, very off point. Nothing to do with the beach, but it has to do with birds. So hear me out, y'all. Okay, I was in New York
Birds.
walking, and all of a sudden there is what I'm assuming is a homeless person. Which, hey, I don't know your life. Sometimes it happens. The disturbing part to me is the fact that this homeless lady somehow has a relationship with pigeons, and there's like 9 pigeons gathered around her, and she has one on her arm like it's like a parrot. I was so shocked.
Do you want to hear something so crazy? I don't know if we're talking about this same woman, but I have seen a woman do that same exact thing in New York City.
Where in New York did you see this lady?
I think it was Washington Square.
Okay. I don't
Unless there's just an entire horde of people.
There could, bro. I don't know what that lady's planning. I'll tell you what. If suddenly pigeons start attacking people, I know who started it.
The government.
She was way too comfortable around these pigeons, and I will stress this again. I've only seen a baby pigeon on Google Images and not in real life.
You know what would be so funny? In maybe a future revolution where she just has the pigeons there. She's just like, fly!
That's what I mean. It's like she's going to activate these birds, take over New York, and then like invade DC. She's president. And now all of a sudden, we went from Joe Biden to Pigeon Lady, which honestly, given the times,
talk about a concrete jungle,
might be a little upgrade. Well,
interesting.
Anyways, shout out to Pigeon Lady. I salute you. I don't want no beef with you and or your pigeons. I was just shocked. Secondly, Amanda, get your life together. That's weird.
Yeah,
that's weird.
I think Amanda can be friends with the seagulls. It's okay.
No, they just
Someone
like
has to.
I call the shots here. Apparently I'm in charge or something. I'm gonna make a new rule. Fall semester, if you like pigeons or seagulls, you're not allowed on the show. Those are just the rules.
I think there was a time
kidding,
last
obviously.
semester where every week we ended up having some sort of seagull or pigeon story. Mostly seagulls. We had a lot of bird stories last semester. It was weird. At that point I was just like, we should just make it a segment. But yeah.
That's birds hilarious. I think there was a while where, like, when I first started like doing producing the Wednesday show, I was on fire with at least like 2 Florida Man stories every show for like 3 months straight.
I heard about that.
I can relate. I could definitely relate. Shout out to Florida Man because I need a Florida Man shirt. This is 90.3 WNC Upper Montclair. It's the Morning Buzz. And I will say, before we close out the show, we had a total of like 9 stories that we could get to. We got to 4. So the conversations were really good today, everyone.
Honestly, I had so much fun.
Yeah. And we talked about a lot of serious things, and we closed it out with something that is very wild. And I want to leave the people with just some general advice. 1, go to the beach, go into the sun, make sure to put sunscreen on, because apparently sun is bad. Yeah, if you want. I want to control everyone, like the Pigeon Lady. And more importantly, if you ever run into Amanda, just know she likes seagulls, and that's a problem. We'll see you next week. Tomorrow will be a highlight show of all the best moments. Shout out to Aiden Ivers, and we're gonna close out the show on ASMR here on the Morning Buzz. Joe, do you have anything else to tell everyone?
I still like soup. Thanks.
I hope everyone has a great day.
Okay. Eat soup if you want, of course. And if you see a seagull, punch it in the face. Just kidding. That's very violent. Okay, I don't know what else to say. This is a very long outro. Aiden, I hope you listen to this whole thing because this is so right now. I think I'm borderline manic. Anyways. Hey, y'all. It's been real. Can we get to 2 minutes? You know what? We're gonna try to get to 9 minutes or 9:02. 9:02. We got 4 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay, everyone. Have a good day.
You're listening to WMSC Upper Montclair